You said "I love you" to a teacher. It happened years ago. The people who saw it, they forgot within days. But you remember it at 2 a.m. You remember it while brushing your teeth. You remember it for no reason at all, on a random Tuesday, doing dishes. Why does your brain refuse to let this go? Here's the strange part. You can't remember what you ate for lunch last Wednesday. Your brain deletes thousands of memories every single day. Names, faces, entire conversations, gone, erased, like they never happened. But that one time you called your teacher Mom by accident, permanent, filed away forever in high definition. This isn't a coincidence, and it isn't a flaw. Scientists didn't understand why until they started studying something most people have never heard of: the brain's threat detection system. And what they found was disturbing. Your brain doesn't see embarrassment as awkward, it sees it as dangerous. 50,000 years ago, being embarrassed wasn't just uncomfortable, it could get you killed. Humans survived in tribes. If your tribe rejected you, you didn't just lose friends. You lost protection, food, safety. You lost everything. So your brain built a system, a warning system. One single job: never let this happen again. Every time you humiliate yourself, your amygdala, the fear center of your brain, lights up like an alarm. It floods your body with cortisol. Your heart rate spikes. Your face burns. Your brain screams one word: remember. Not because it wants to torture you, because it thinks it's protecting you. But here's where it gets disturbing. This system doesn't know the difference between 50,000 years ago and last Tuesday. It doesn't know that tripping in a hallway won't get you exiled from a tribe and left to die in the wild. Your ancient brain is still running ancient software, and you're the one paying the price. Almost nobody realizes this. But embarrassing memories are stored differently than normal memories. They're not filed in the same place as your grocery list or your childhood address. They're stored in emotional memory, the same system that stores trauma. That's why an embarrassing memory doesn't feel like remembering. It feels like reliving. You don't recall it, you relive it. Full sensory replay. The heat in your cheeks, the eyes on you, the silence. Scientists call this memory reconsolidation. And what they discovered next shocked researchers across the field. Every time you replay an embarrassing memory, your brain doesn't just remember it. It rebuilds it, strengthens it, makes it sharper. You think you're punishing yourself by cringing at 2 a.m. You're actually doing the opposite. You're reinforcing the memory, carving it deeper. The worst part? The more you try to forget it, the more your brain assumes it must be important. Because why else would you keep thinking about it? This is where things take a darker turn. In 2011, researchers at UC Berkeley ran an experiment most people have never heard of. They asked participants to recall two types of memories: proud moments and embarrassing ones. The brain scans revealed something nobody expected. The embarrassing memories activated regions associated with physical pain. Not emotional discomfort, physical pain. The same regions that light up when your hand touches fire. Your brain, quite literally, treats social humiliation the same way it treats a burn. That's why the memory doesn't just feel bad, it feels like it's hurting you, because as far as your nervous system is concerned, it is. You'd think evolution would have fixed this by now. It hasn't. And that's when the real question emerges, the one most people never ask. If this system was built to protect you, why does it feel like it's destroying you instead? This is where the story gets even stranger. The answer isn't in your head. It's in your ancestors' survival code. And it's about to get worse before it gets better. Because embarrassment isn't just about you. Scientists discovered something even darker. It's contagious. In 2013, researchers at Stanford ran a study where participants simply watched someone else embarrass themselves on video. No sound, no direct involvement, just watching. Their brains lit up as if it happened to them. This is called vicarious embarrassment. And it means your brain doesn't just protect you from your own humiliation, it protects you from watching others get humiliated too. That's why you physically cringe watching a character mess up in a movie. Why you close your eyes during awkward scenes. Your brain doesn't know the difference between fiction and reality. But here's where it gets disturbing. If watching someone else's embarrassment can wire into your memory, what happens when the whole world is watching? This brings us to something that didn't exist for 99% of human history, something that broke the ancient system completely: the internet. For 300,000 years, human embarrassment had a ceiling. Worst case scenario, your tribe of 150 people saw you fail. That was it. That was the whole audience. Now, a single mistake can be seen by millions, screenshotted, reposted, turned into a meme, permanent, searchable, forever. Your brain, still running on tribal-era softwares, has no idea how to process this. It still thinks the threat is a few dozen people around a campfire, except now the campfire is the entire internet. That's when researchers found something even more disturbing. Cases of teenagers developing something psychologists now call digital shame trauma, a fear response triggered not by real danger, but by the mere possibility of public humiliation going viral. The worst part? Some of these individuals had never even experienced the embarrassment personally. They just feared it, and the fear alone was enough to rewire their brain's threat response. You'd think that would be the peak of the problem. It wasn't, because there's one more twist neuroscientists uncovered, and it changes everything you think you know about memory. Your brain doesn't replay embarrassing memories randomly. It replays them specifically when you're falling asleep, or in quiet, unstimulated moments. Why? Because those are the exact conditions your brain associates with vulnerability. In the wild, quiet, still moments were when predators attacked. Your subconscious uses these low-stimulation windows to run threat rehearsals, replaying past failures to make sure you never repeat them. This is why the memory always hits at 2 a.m. Not during a busy workday. Not while you're distracted. It waits. Until you're still. Until you're vulnerable. Then it strikes. Almost nobody realizes this is happening on purpose. Your own mind is running a nightly security check, and embarrassing memories are the flagged files it keeps pulling up for review. But here's the question that should terrify you. If this system was built for a world with 150 people and no cameras, what is it doing to a generation growing up with an audience of billions? Scientists are only beginning to find out, and what they discovered next is the most unsettling part of this entire story. In 2021, a team of neuroscientists studying anxiety disorders found something that changed how they understood memory forever. They weren't just researching embarrassment anymore, they were researching why some people never let go of it, while others move on in days. And the answer wasn't about willpower, it wasn't about confidence, it was about something far stranger. The size of a single part of your brain, the hippocampus, determines how long an embarrassing memory stays vivid. People with heightened activity in this region don't just remember embarrassment. They relive it in cinematic detail years later, as if no time has passed at all. But here's the twist nobody expected. This same trait, this same curse, was found to overlap almost perfectly with something else: high empathy. The people who cringe the hardest, who replay their worst moments the most, who lie awake reliving a joke that fell flat in third grade, are often the same people wired to deeply understand and feel what others feel. Your brain isn't broken. It's oversensitive in the exact way that makes you more compassionate, more self-aware, more careful with other people's feelings. The very thing torturing you at 2 a.m. is tangled up with the very thing that makes you a decent human being. That's when things got even stranger. Researchers found that people who suppress embarrassing memories, who force themselves not to think about them, actually strengthen them over time. But people who do something different, something almost nobody tries, get a completely different result. They reframe the memory, not by forgetting it, by retelling it. When you tell someone the embarrassing story, out loud, as a joke, as an anecdote, something remarkable happens in the brain. The memory shifts categories. It moves out of the threat response system and into ordinary narrative memory. The same place you store stories, not scars. This is why, years later, your most humiliating moments can become your favorite stories to tell at dinner. Your brain isn't erasing the memory, it's refiling it, turning a wound into folklore. But almost nobody does this on purpose. Most people do the opposite. They bury it, hide it, never speak of it again, and by staying silent, they keep the alarm switched on, forever. Here's the realization that should change how you see every cringing memory you've ever had. That moment you can't forget wasn't a malfunction. It wasn't your brain being cruel to you. It was 50,000 years of ancestors who survived by learning from every social mistake, whispering the same warning through your neurons tonight. Remember, don't let it happen again. I'm keeping you safe. Your brain never got the memo that the world changed, that tribes turned into cities. That cities turned into a screen in your pocket connected to billions of strangers who will never think about you again after tomorrow. It's still protecting you from a world that doesn't exist anymore. So tonight, when that memory resurfaces, the one you thought you buried, you won't just see an embarrassing moment. You'll see a message. Ancient. Misfiring. But not malicious. Proof that somewhere inside you, a system older than language itself is still working, still watching, still trying, in its own broken, outdated way, to keep you alive. And maybe that's not something to be ashamed of. Maybe that's the last thing anyone would expect. Evidence that you were built to survive,